Hello, hello.
Hey, hey.
My name is Konata,
And I'm Amanda.
and we are the
The
Smalls.
Smalls.
And you are now listening
You're
to
now rocking with the best
Our Small
world.
World. Our Small World. And this is our podcast. What are we
Yeah.
talking about? What we
Where
talking
there's
about?
nothing small about us.
There's
You
nothing
know what I'm
small
saying?
about us. What is-
So, welcome to our podcast. Just a
Mhm,
little
mhm.
bit about ourselves. We've been married for quite some time,
Yep. Little while.
a little
Mhm,
while, a couple
mhm,
years, few years,
mhm, mhm.
17 to be exact.
Coming up on 18 soon.
No, we're about to be 17.
We're about to be
About to
17.
be
Oh,
17. Come on, man, get it right.
yeah.
I know it's been so long. At this
Yeah.
point, it feels like 30.
About 17 in July, right? It's coming up.
July. Yeah.
Okay. So what's up? How you doing?
I'm great. How are
Doing
you?
good. Doing good, girl. You know what I'm saying? What we
You're
want?
so dumb. Anyway, so this is us. We
Hmm.
went to hang out. So Kanata wanted to do this podcast because he wanted to drop some knowledge on some people
Yeah, I
and
mean,
just share some good stuff that he's learned.
sometimes we have these conversations. We're always talking because we're always with each other, and we'll talk about that in a minute. But we just have these conversations, and we're always like, man, that would have been a good
Yeah,
conversation to talk about, to have other people listen to and comment on. So that's the idea. We got some things that we want to talk about, some experiences we've had, some failures, some victories, and that's part of the journey. So welcome. Cue the theme song now. We're brothers. Can't say that one.
that ain't it.
And that ain't it. So what's up?
So yeah, so we just wanted to share a little bit about
Mm-hmm.
who we are, what we do. So Kanata and I, if you don't know who we are, we live a lot of our life together.
Yes.
Pretty much 95% of our life is together, and it's
Mm-hmm.
awesome.
Mm-hmm.
So we are married.
Married. Yep.
We have children, so we parent together.
Mm-hmm.
We own businesses together. We are business owners.
Yes.
We
Business
get rich
says.
together. You know what I'm saying? Ball out. No
No.
balling because I don't ball, but I don't.
You don't?
No.
I don't know what you got.
Relax.
Okay. Yeah. We've been poor together.
We've been
as
poor
well.
together. Yeah. Oh, babe,
Uh,
remember when we was broke? Yo, that was probably one of some of the best times.
I remember when we were broke. Yeah,
We was
absolutely.
broke together. Yo.
Absolutely.
Listen, if you can rock with somebody when you broke, you can rock with them when you rich.
Absolutely. 100.
100. I was riding with you.
And we were in a group together.
We did music
we
together.
did music together.
Yep.
Um,
We've traveled the world
traveled
together.
the world together. Traveled a lot of America together. So you get it. We're together. Been together, are together, will be together. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, there's some things about that make it interesting.
Yeah.
People always ask me like, how do you do it all? Like, how are you able to, do music and then do, your job and be business owners and be around each other all the time? Because during this pandemic, a lot of people had to they got some new coworkers. I got 2 new coworkers. You might hear them a couple times back here. You was already a coworker.
I was already a
some
coworker.
to
Yeah,
speak.
yeah.
But I got 2 little small people coworkers, and even getting to work with them. So a lot of people have been here. They've been in this situation where their roommates, their significant others, their children, their dogs have become coworkers. And some people can't handle it. Some people
Yeah.
can't wait to go back to the office. They're risking COVID infection and all. Let me back in the office
So they can get
so
away
I
from
can
their
leave
spouse.
the spouse. But we're blessed. I guess we haven't. I haven't felt like that. Have you felt like that?
I have it. I think I really enjoyed the pandemic. Well, no, I didn't. Let me back that up.
Said no one ever.
Said no one ever. I learned to appreciate the time. I think
Mm.
a lot of people did. I think for us, we thankfully we already have a great working relationship, so being
Yeah.
in each other's space wasn't abnormal for us.
Mm-hmm.
I think now putting the parenting piece into the working, and then having to teach and just all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I think learning how to pivot. What I enjoyed the most though was actually spending time with the kids. Like,
Yeah.
I thought it was great getting to know them, which is weird,
Mm-hmm.
right? Because they're your kids and you feel like you know them. But I felt like when they were home with us, and then I was, of course, having to spend most of the time with them because now
Mm-hmm.
I became their teacher and their principal and their freaking lunch lady and freaking
Mm-hmm.
everything. But, getting to know them, I was like, wow, I don't know my kids. Like, so I got to know, like, we got to know, like, what they liked.
Mm-hmm.
We got to
Mm-hmm.
know their study
They're
habits or
learning,
their lack of,
Mm-hmm. What they're good at,
what they're good at.
what they're not so good at.
So I thought that was cool. They enjoyed being home with us. They really
Yeah.
enjoyed being home with you and knowing that like daddy was home and stuff like that. So I
Mm-hmm.
thought that was a pretty cool dynamic. So even now, like, as we've been kind of transitioning back out, like just trying to figure out what that looks like with our family and stuff. And um, I love that you're home. Like, that I can just go in the room and say, hey,
Hey, you know what I'm
you know what I'm
saying?
saying?
You know that song "Afternoon Delight"? Let's keep it moving. It's getting real out here. Anyway, so yeah, I mean, we enjoy it. We figure it out. It doesn't mean that like sometimes she doesn't have to go take a drive, or sometimes for lunch, even though I'm home with food surrounding me, I don't gotta leave here to go have a lunch. It doesn't happen that often, but sometimes we need it as well. But for the most part, it's been dope. It's
Yeah.
been real, real dope. And like you said, getting to know the kids. My daughter is my number one teacher about myself. She is able to show me. Our relationship shows me things about myself I wouldn't have known otherwise.
So let's
And
talk about that, right? Because our relationship with them is different, and I think that's what we're learning right now,
mm-hmm,
right?
mm-hmm.
How to love them differently.
Yep.
Um, you hear people say it all the time, but I think we're getting into a stage of life that we're learning. Oh, this is what it means to love them different,
Yeah.
and then even how I parent Zoe and how you parent Zoe is so different. Like,
Mm-hmm.
what are you learning now as a dad? Because I've been enjoying watching you, especially in the past several months, learning how to shift how you are handling situations with her. Like, how are you walking through that right now?
Learn that I'm a failure.
No, you're not.
No. Yeah, I mean, I'm definitely learning that I have weaknesses, in my parenting skills, but also I'm learning that, you know, as a father for my daughter, I'm introducing her to how she should, needs, and is expecting to be treated
Yeah.
um, by whoever's going to be in her life. And I think it translates to relationships, friendships, and everything, and I think that's both of us. So it's a little bit of a more of a responsibility. So that means like when I catch myself getting too angry, or maybe not getting angry, but annoyed or correcting her, having to realize it before it's done, hopefully most of the time, is the biggest challenge. To be like, oh man, like you said that a little bit too harsh. So you need to come back around with a smile and an I love you. And then sometimes a straight up apology, like, hey, daddy
Mm-hmm.
messed up, daddy didn't have a daddy. Like I'm learning this, I'm learning this with you, you know what I'm saying? And that's my story, but it's been great, because she has a lot of grace for me and she loves me, and obviously I love her. So that's been great. We have a different relationship than the relationship I have with my son, you know. But before I go on that, like your relationship with Zoe is really interesting because she's always looking to you,
Yeah.
for anything creative. She knows not to ask me. You mean what? You want to set up and make foam, clay, slime? What's that mean? How long is it going to take you? And all of her answers are wrong. Oh, half an hour. 8 hours later, there's a mess, blah, blah, blah. But as a creative in that sense, because I'm a creative in one sense, but not in that sense. You're able to speak into that.
Yeah.
Okay, well, let her do her mess, and Um, so how do you you handle it?
I
Because
I think I see so much of myself in Zoe.
mm,
Um, but it's interesting when they say that like your kids are mirrors of yourself.
yeah,
Sometimes I see myself and I'm like, oh, how do I better, how do I do a better job at helping her maneuver through this process? Because I don't ever want us to hinder her process as a creative, because that's like
Mm-hmm.
the worst thing you can do for a creative.
Yep. You've said that.
Um, because creatives, we're so sensitive, like we're so sensitive about our stuff,
Mm-hmm.
and so it can cause insecurities and stuff. So I never want her to feel like what she's wanting to do like it doesn't matter,
Yeah.
but trying to help. Okay, how do you be responsible with your creativity?
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's the difference, because I think sometimes creatives, we kind of just throw caution to the wind, like, well, I'm just a creative, and that's a lame excuse sometimes. Like,
Mm-hmm.
you can still be responsible with your creativity. So I'm learning that with her, of, okay, how do I help her cultivate her gifting, right?
Mm-hmm.
Still let her be free in it, but still teach her some responsibility. So that's been hard,
Yeah.
because I hate when I say no to her and she's disappointed. Like, that just kills me. And I'm like, man, I suck. But then I'm like, but no, I have to say no. Like, I
Yeah.
have really expensive floors, and no, I don't want paint on my floors
And
because I
and
can't get it. And I don't know, I don't want baby oil
and I
on the
think it's
floor.
training, right, for life. Like, like obviously we want to set them up for success. We want them to be encouraged and all that kind of stuff. But there's gonna be some no's. There's gonna
Yeah,
be a lot of disappointment. That's a part of life.
yeah,
And it just comes with the territory and the environment for kids nowadays. Just period across the board is set up to coddle them in every single
yeah,
part of life, whether it's them playing a sport and everybody gets a trophy, or their entitlement to, they deserve everything without necessarily having to work for it. Perfect example, I went to play basketball this morning, right? Playing basketball, and I didn't realize this, but the first 8 people that got to the court felt like they automatically should be able to play
because they got there on time.
because they got there on time. So we're all playing or whatever, but now the teams are not even, because there are people that are better on one team and people that are not as good. So when we were done, we won, by the way. When we were done, I'm sitting there talking to someone, and the guy says, "This is what's wrong with
With
culture."
America.
Like, everyone, he said, when I was growing up, and same here. When I was growing up, you couldn't walk on a basketball court in New York and expect
Ever,
to
yeah.
play ever. Even if you called downs for the next game, somebody is going to try to take you down.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
you had to learn to stand up for yourself. You had to prove that you could play, that you belonged on the court with other people, and that's how you got. And all that was building your tenacity
Yeah.
and showing you how to push through. Nowadays, and I guess it is this new generation. It's kids. This is what they're being introduced to, and it's entitlement. Like, I should play because I got here.
Yeah.
It has nothing to do with your hard work, with your effort. You're not trying to accomplish being in the same conversation
Yeah.
with these certain things. So there's a part of us, right, that even though we feel bad or whatever, we have to know that we got to be all right with
Yeah.
the no's and the disappointments.
I think I know this is definitely a struggle for me. Like, I'll think about stuff that I went through growing up, and I'm like, the way I got disciplined,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm like, man, I don't ever want to treat my kids like that.
Yeah.
And so I think our generation is parenting that way.
Mm-hmm.
And so to a point, it's like, okay, it's creating a dynamic in our parenting with I think it's creating better relationships with our kids in a sense of, like, how we had the conversation with the kids the other day with that topic. And it was just like, where other kids would be like, I would never speak to, but I think it's opened up the avenue for that. And we can talk about that in a second.
Yeah, it was a topic.
But but also I know for me, it's hindered me because I don't want to parent in a certain way. I've allowed some foolishness to happen. And so it's like, now I'm trying to, like, pull back the reins, like, yo, like the other day
Yeah.
with that whole, all right, I got a story for y'all. I'm gonna just tell y'all failure in my parenting, but whatever. So the other day when the other morning,
Wasn't a failure.
it wasn't. No, it was because I cussed my kids out. I said some crazy stuff to them the other day. I ain't cuss them out. Well, I did. I said some wild stuff to them. I was just mad. I'm gonna tell you why, and then your parents are gonna be like, "I got it. You got to pass on this one." So the other morning,
Shout out to Roomba.
Oh my God. So my kids have chores. They have chores. That's what we do in this house, right? They have chores. It's nothing crazy, but they know in the morning, the dogs have to, or the dogs have to be walked, they have to be fed, and at night they have to be walked and fed or whatever, right?
Yep.
So we have two dogs. Two of my dogs, one of them decided to take a crap in my living room on my brand new, beautiful white carpet, right? Actually, no, they pooped off of it, right? And so my daughter sees it and doesn't think about cleaning it up. So she sends her little brother, so she sends Zion to go clean it up. And so then I'm in the shower and she comes in all urgent, like, Mom, the dog's pooped. And I said, okay, are you cleaning it up? She's like, I told Zion to clean it up. And I'm like, okay. And I'm like, she just pulled the big sister thing, right? So I'm like, all right. And then she leaves and she says, the vacuum ran over the poop because we got a robot vacuum, right? So she leaves and I said, did she turn the vacuum off? I know her. She didn't turn this vacuum off. So then I hear them arguing or whatever. So I call her back into the bathroom and I was like, yo, did you turn the vacuum off? And she was like, no. I said, why didn't you turn the freaking vacuum off? Oh, okay. I said, go turn it off.
So for those of you that don't know what that means and you don't have one of these or you've never heard of a Roomba, these are vacuums that glide across your floor and it's supposed to clean everything. And they're supposed to be smart, but they're not smart enough to not drag
crap
dog crap all over wherever they're headed.
So I'm in the shower and it dawned on me, this girl didn't turn the vacuum off. That means there's poop getting drug all over my brand new white carpet. So I get out the shower, I go outside, and I hear the vacuum still running. So now I'm pissed because I already know what I'm about to see when I walk out there. So here comes my daughter around the corner with some air freshener. Like, what is that air freshener gonna do with the poop that's on the floor? And so I lost it. I was like, yo, like, why didn't you turn this vacuum off? And, she's like, so I'm just trying to understand, like, how she comprehends stuff. And I just lost it and so she tells me, oh, I didn't know how to, which that's a lie. So now you're lying to me. And then she says, oh, I didn't want to trek past the poop. So now you're just being lazy. Those are two things for me that just don't work in my life is liars and laziness. So if or you were that person, I don't want you in my life. So, so trying to like comprehend this thing. And so I just lost it on her. Like I just lost it. And
I was at the gym and you texted me, she said, hey, just a heads up. The house smells like poop. Your daughter's not so smart.
Something like that. Me, And so, I sent her to a room and I was just livid, man. I was just lit. And so I really had to like pull back because I was just upset and try to like, why are you so upset? But I had a right to be upset. Like that was just ridiculous behavior. Where before I probably would have just like, you know what, I'm going to clean it up myself because I know this is not going to get cleaned up. And we didn't. When you came home, you actually spoke to her and then you actually made her do the job of cleaning this thing up.
Yeah. So the way that I believe teaching works, when someone does something and they don't really understand the consequences of it, they have to understand the full consequence of that situation for them to appreciate why, I'm getting upset, why she's getting upset. In this case, my daughter. So, I speak to her, I'm asking her, just go through the priority. You see the poop getting spread across, right? Why do you, and I think this has to do with YouTube, TikTok, because it does make a funny story, right? Like,
we're telling it now.
This would be a great story. I should go get this on video. Like, even if she did any of those things, I'd have been like, okay, all right, I get where you're headed.
No, I wouldn't. I would have do that freaking phone across the damn house.
I'd have been upset, but at least I would have been able to understand it. But I know it comes from that culture. Like, this would make a great story. So I'm talking to her, and I said,
this is a prank. No.
I said, listen, like, you have to set up the priority. So I just give her a quick scenario. If this happened, what would you do first? And she answers it all right. And I said, so why didn't you do that in this same situation? Long story short, I said the vacuum was still in the place where she shut it off. And she had mopped around that vacuum. She did everything she needed to do, cleaned up the carpet to the best of her ability. She did a decent job. And then she walked away. And I was like, are you done? She said, yeah. I said, you pick up that vacuum? Do you know what's under that vacuum? And she said, poop. I said, so how do you think that you're done? I said, so this is what you're gonna do. You're gonna pick up that vacuum, you're gonna clean up what's under it, and then you're gonna take that vacuum outside and you're gonna clean it.
Yeah.
That means the poop that is in there, she's 11 years old. She has to go out now, put gloves on. I gave her a little toothbrush that I used to clean my sneakers to go and get in there or whatever. And the whole time she's, doing that for like 30 minutes or whatever. And I'm like, and I'm looking from the window like, I'm working.
You're
like,
working.
yeah. Now she understands the consequence. So next time that's happening, she might run and dive
To go pick up
to
that
go
poop.
stop the vacuum before it hits that poop because she knows she doesn't want to have to clean up the vacuum. And again, some of that's a little bit, I guess, an old school parenting. Some of that's what is called new school parenting,
Yeah,
based on how
it's
we
a
were
little bit of
raised.
both. And I think what we're learning too is just learning how to be on the same page with parenting, because
Yes,
you know
because
we
kids will play you.
yeah, and they've been playing us for many years, and
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
and we haven't been, well, no, we've been good. I've probably not been as good, like,
Mm-hmm.
because you're the softer one. I'm the softer one. I am. Let me just
Okay.
be real.
Thank you. Yes.
I'm the
Yes.
softer one. So they've been playing, but we're getting better. We're getting
We're
better at
getting
like
better.
getting on the same page and making
Absolutely.
sure that they're not playing us, because they play us.
Mm-hmm.
And the older they get, they're gonna,
They're gonna team up. See, like right now, they're coming out. They know they ain't supposed
they
to
know they
come
ain't
out here,
supposed to
but
be out here. But here
these
come my
guys
son.
get out of here. No, what's up, buddy? Nope.
No.
Good night. Why is marker on your face? All right, let's talk about that another time. Go to your room, please. So there you have it. There's permanent marker
On his face.
on my son's face right now.
I bet you my daughter put it on there.
I want to know why. But for the sake of what we're doing right now, I'll find out later. And then we'll tell you about that on the next episode. But yeah, parenting, it's definitely it's work, and the teamwork, the same stuff that's related in our business stuff, making sure we're communicating, it translates as well in the parenting.
Yeah.
So
I think this year well, we've been together 17 years and we've gone through so many seasons in our relationship. I think as we get older and we continue to mature and what life looks like,
mm-hmm.
I've really been like, I've been kind of just looking back at what life has looked like for us. We've gone through so many different phases of life. And just thinking about how integrated our life is with everything. Like, what I mean by that is, like, we work together, right? We do music together. We just have all these things together. And I love that the kids are a part of it, like even with ministry, when we do ministry, that they're a part of it. I've always said this to you. I never wanted the kids to feel resentful of church.
Yeah.
I always wanted them to understand that they had a relationship with God.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think for this season, just watching them, especially now during the pandemic, like, it was, I was a little concerned of like what this was going to mean for them spiritually, because they're young,
Mm-hmm.
and I thought what we were able to accomplish with them at home and being able to still instill these things with them, I thought was valuable, because now that they went back to school and all that stuff, they started viewing school differently, viewing their friends differently. They were viewing just the things that were being talked about differently. So much so that, they're like, we want to go back to Christian school and stuff like that. But I've just enjoyed how integrated they have been in every part of our life. And one thing that I think we've done different that I didn't have growing up, we talk about this all the time, right? Like, we didn't have choices. It was like, yo, you got to eat what you like, like, it was not like, yo, what you feel like eating today? You just go eat. Like, if I put freaking white rice and corned beef, whatever, that's what you eating today.
Yep.
Like, well, I'm in the mood for mac and cheese. I don't care what you in the mood for.
This is what's prepared.
Like, this is what I made today, and that's what you eating. And so, like, we're allowing them a little bit more choices. And so, I think it's one of those things that I'm learning. I enjoy that we are allowing them to be a part of the conversations, right? I remember when we were getting ready to take over young adult ministry, and we had a conversation with them. I know I did. I was like, how do you guys feel about this? Because I didn't want them to feel like, oh, it's just another thing you guys are going to be doing. They were excited about it. When we're going to be traveling, like we
Yeah.
communicate to them, hey,
Mm-hmm.
we're going to be in a busy season. Like mommy and daddy are touring. Like I've enjoyed that. But how do like how do we do better at still raising kids that sometimes you just got to do what you're told to do. It's not all of always. You're not always gonna have a choice in something.
Yeah, and like um, I hear people say that all the time. Like, what's wrong with the question? Hey, I need you to do this. Why? I laugh because it's silly. Why? What do you mean why? Because I'm still from that old school thought of you don't need to ask me why I
Yo,
asked you to do
Kanata
something.
definitely is he's the parent. He's
I'm
definitely the
bringing
parent.
up crazy stuff
Yo,
from my
he's
childhood
definitely the
when I
parent who's
talk
like,
to
yo, when I was young,
exactly.
when I was your age, I'm like, bro, you too young to have those stories.
Yeah, I gotta walk to school when I was your age. I didn't have feet. Just crazy
I had
stuff.
to take 7 buses and 2 trains to get to school.
No, but like, and this is again, this is preparation for life. That's what you do when you raise children. You're preparing them
Mm,
for life, for adulthood, to be hopefully men and women of faith that they know who God is, but even be critical thinkers, be able to like look at something and figure out what the priority is, what's the strategy behind, like all those kinds of things. So you're tasked with all those types of ideas and agendas.
mm.
So one of the biggest things that I've heard parents say, oh, it's healthy for you to sit and explain to a child why you're asking them to do something. And I would definitely combat that as a believer. There's certain things that God has asked me to do,
Mm.
and I had zero idea why He asked me to do it. But as I did whatever it is that I've done, after I got to the other side of it, I was able to look back and say, wow,
And
I
then he'll
needed to do
explain it.
that. And if he would have explained to me why I was doing it, I wouldn't have done it
Yeah.
because I wouldn't have seen myself or thought that I'd be here or there or whatever. And in the same respect, but it's because he knows what's best for me, right?
Yeah.
So I believe as my kids are only 11 and 7 years old, I have a capacity to make better decisions for them
Mm-hmm.
than they do for themselves. So in that, I don't need to explain to you why I'm doing something. Now, I'm not saying you don't explain, but when you ask me after I've just told you, I'm not explaining jack splash to you. I'm not explaining anything to you.
Yeah.
Now, after you're done, I have no problem. This is something we got from our
I was
friends,
gonna
Meaty
say
and
I think we
Lewis.
got that from our friends.
Yeah,
That was such great advice. Yeah.
after you've already
Shout out to Lewis and
accomplished,
Meaty.
shout out, then I have no problem explaining it to you. This is why I needed you. I'm glad you
Mm-hmm.
did it. This is why I need you to do it. But don't ask me as a reply to something that I just told you needed to do uh,
Mm-hmm.
in the house. So listen, it's been fun. It's
It's
been
been
fun.
fun.
What else, girl?
All right, I got a fun question for you.
You do?
Yeah. We're gonna change lanes because we sound like old parents.
Tie your shoelace. See? Like an old parent. Tie your shoelace.
What are 3 words you would have for your teenage self?
3
Three
words?
words, like three.
Or like sayings or things I would tell myself, or 3 words?
All right. What's some advice you would give to your teenage
My
self?
teenage self.
15-year-old Konata. What would you tell 15-year-old Konata?
15-year-old Kanata, man. Jeez, I don't know. Man, that's tough. I mean, I guess I would go along the lines of the work, whatever it is I was doing at that time. I think, at 15 years old, I was deathly scared, even up until
Mm,
17, 18 years old, of public speaking. Don't call me to read no text, teacher. I'm not reading out loud. I'm not in your Sunday school class. Don't ask me to read a verse because you need a time teacher to figure out what you're going to say next. I'm the student you skip if you want it to be read properly. Because then when I do start reading, I sound crazy because I'm so Jesus new command in because I'm so nervous of this public speaking situation. So for me, the advice I would give myself is don't be, and especially if I could see myself talking to myself, I think I'd listen more. But I would say do not be scared to be uncomfortable. Do not be scared of the things that scare you. Try to embrace those things, because
Mm.
those things and those things that I was so fearful of is where I shine now. Like I can, I'm a
It's what you
decent
get paid to
speaker. I
do.
get paid to do it. Like I rap in
Yeah.
motivational speaking terms. So again, all of that, came a lot later. But if I could tell myself at an earlier age to get that under my belt, I think that would have been awesome.
Mm.
And then when I was,
That's good.
when I was a little bit older, I would have told myself, hey, there's this thing called Bitcoin. Why don't you go ahead and buy it when it's zero zero zero
Zero
point
zero point
one
one
cent?
percent.
All you need is $1,000, and you'll be a multi-millionaire today. But yeah, I mean, everyone has that kind of stuff. But I think that would be the biggest thing. Welcome the uncomfortableness,
Mm.
and I would tell myself to serve God, because at 15, I wasn't on that.
Yeah.
Definitely not. So, what
That's
would you
good.
tell yourself?
Um,
Wisdom.
that's interesting because that was a rough season of my life, like 14, 15.
Mm,
So I tell people there's a chunk of my life in that age group I don't even really
you remember?
remember.
Yeah.
But I think that's just trauma that, I'm going through therapy. Shout out to Risha. That's what I was gonna say that. But just I think at that age I was trying to, you're coming into your own, right?
Mm-hmm.
You're trying to figure out who you are. I think at that age I was starting to process what had happened that I had kind of just stuffed for so long.
Yeah.
And if I was to speak to that little, I would say 16-year-old, maybe 16-year-old
16 is
Amanda, because
better.
I don't think I
15
don't
could
really know what I would say if I'm being honest. I don't know if I could even speak to 15-year-old Amanda.
Mm.
But 16, 17-year-old Amanda, I'd probably tell her, yes, you're different, but you're gonna get paid a lot of money for it. So stay different.
There you go.
That's what I would tell
There
her.
you go.
Because at that age, I was so creative. You know, my mom used to say this scripture to me, and now that I'm older I realize it wasn't proper, but not that it wasn't proper, it was just out of context. But she used to always say a double-minded person is unstable in all their ways.
Mm.
And so I carried that my whole life, thinking I wasn't normal because of the way I was created. I was creative. I never stuck to one thing. Like, I just loved trying new things. I sound like Zoe.
Zoe, right now you just had this conversation with her. You
I
gotta
did.
stick
I
to
just
something.
had. You got to stick to something.
Mhm.
Now, the difference between her and I is that I would follow things through. So even if I would start something, I would finish it and then decide, oh, I don't like it, or I'd be like, dang, I killed it. On to the next thing. Like, it wasn't a challenge for me anymore.
Mm.
So I struggled for so many years thinking that I wasn't normal. Like, why can't I just have a normal, be a teacher for the rest of my life, or why can't I just be a pastor for the, like, that just never came. So
Mm.
as I got older, I realized, no, this is just how God created you, and you're freaking dope, and you don't need nobody to tell you that you're dope. And no, mom, I'm not unstable. I'm actually quite stable.
Yeah.
So that's probably what I would tell a 16-year-old Amanda. It's okay to be different, and you're gonna do very well when you get
Man,
older.
that's so crazy that you was thinking on that level. Like at 16, 15, 14, 17, I had no idea what I wanted to do. Like, you couldn't ask me, what do you want to do when you grow up? Outside of playing in the NBA, which didn't happen, obviously.
Yeah, I don't know if I knew
That
what I
was it.
wanted to do, because I played basketball, so that's really what I wanted to do. I wanted to play basketball, and I played baseball.
Mm-hmm.
So my goal at 16, I was trying to be the first female. A lot of people don't even actually know this. Like, I played baseball till I was in 10th grade,
Mhm.
and so with the boys, and so my
And
goal,
baseball,
not
not
softball,
softball.
baseball.
Fast pitch.
And so my goal, actually, at that time, I just wanted to be the first female in the major leagues. Like, that literally was a goal of mine. But
Mhm.
some stuff happened, and unfortunately I wasn't able to continue playing.
Yeah.
But I knew at that age, at 16, so I just knew I was going to travel the world.
Mm.
and no one around me understood that, because where I come from, like, many people just don't leave that area.
Yeah.
And so that's the only thing at that age I knew. I said, one day I'm going to travel the world. I didn't know
Mm.
how, I don't know what I was going to do. I just knew I was going to travel the world, and I did.
I'm like Will Smith in Pursuit of Happiness. I literally have surprised myself every
Every time.
season because I
Yeah.
never wanted to travel the world. It just, it was cool, like an idea, and then I ended up traveling the world. Never wanted to be a public speaker, then I ended up public speaking. Never wanted to. I wanted to do music for a living, like a little bit of me did, but it was the singing thing. Definitely not rapping, and now I rap.
Yeah.
So a lot of yeah, the
Babe,
surprises are just crazy.
you know what's dope? Sorry, I'm about to get like, this is gonna be great. You know what's dope? Like, I've thought about this often, like how what you were sharing, that I think that's part of your story that I always enjoy, that you were so afraid of speaking publicly,
Mm.
and like how God uses the very thing that we're just like
Yeah.
so fearful of. The things that tried to break us when we
Mm-hmm.
were younger is the very thing that God will use to just, take you to another level.
Yep.
And I think, I'm always thinking about how just, how strategic, how life is, how, I didn't grow up with you, I didn't know you. You
Mm-hmm.
grew up, what, 3 hours from me? Like, we
Mm-hmm.
lived a totally different life.
Yep.
You grew up in a single parent home.
Mm-hmm.
I grew up with both parents. Like,
Huge
I
family,
grew up in a huge
cousins.
family,
Mm-hmm.
middle class. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we weren't wealthy or anything, but I knew the struggle, but to a point.
Mm-hmm.
You knew struggle on a different level, and
Mm-hmm.
then just looking at our life together now, like, sometimes I sit and I'm like, how in the world, like, I would have, first of all, I would have
Yeah.
never imagined, when scripture says, like, that he will give you exceedingly abundantly above anything that we can think or imagine. Like, that is what life
This
with
is
you
it.
is for me. It's just like, I know I wanted to travel the world.
Mm.
I didn't know that traveling the world was going to look like this, with
Yeah.
you and 2 kids and the amazing friends we have. And
Mm-hmm.
like, so it just blows my mind sometimes to see how God orchestrates everything.
Yeah.
And then for him to bring us together at the very time that he brought us together. And when I met you, I was in such a crazy season. Like, I had just gotten out of this crazy season.
Mm-hmm.
And like, I tell people this often, like, I don't recommend this to anybody. You can't save your boyfriend or girlfriend. Like, just let them get with God. But you played a very vital role in my walk.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah, you said that the other day, and it's a lot, to know that, because yeah, it was when I met you, you get caught up, he was looking good, and I was saved and whatever, and I was, full blown loving the Lord like I do now, but
I was trying to entice you.
and
He was like, "Girl, get away from me."
you know what I'm saying, and I remember one time we went to Chili's or Bennigan's or whatever, and we was waiting for people. And I just said, let me, I just told you the story about Jesus and just
Hmm.
kind of this layman's term version of Jesus. And I remember telling to you because we were just waiting, and I forgot why I told you the story, but I remember you said, "Man, wow, that almost got me teary eyed," and I was like, "Wow, like she really is coming into this thing,
Mm-hmm.
fairly new." And you grew up around it though, like
Yeah.
which is always a weird thing for me. Like, and I would always ask you, like, even when I went home with you the first time and met your dad, and Amanda's dad is a pastor. What's it called? City Church in
Capital
Harrisburg,
City
Capital
Church.
City
Mm-hmm.
Church. But he's such a man of God that
Yeah.
he's going to get you saved
Even
during
if you already
breakfast.
saved.
Every breakfast, he's asking you questions, making you think, so on and so forth. And I remember sitting with him the first time, and I was like, "Oh my goodness, you had this your whole life,
Mm-hmm.
And I know, like anything, you wish that you had it. I probably would have got tired of it, like you, because now I'll be over there like, yo, Freddie, like, okay, I'm saved,
Relax.
man,
I
relax.
love Jesus.
Um, but it's just funny how that works. I didn't understand anything about anything
Yeah.
God related until I was like 14 years old. That's when it finally like clicked. And even still, I didn't make a choice to actually run after him till I was 17. So it's funny. All those things,
Mm-hmm.
and here we are doing a podcast. Our small world. You know what I'm saying? Go to commercial. So yeah, man, it's been great.
It's been great. It's been
Bruh.
good. Bruh.
Should talk about that.
We were talking about how some guys, when they be talking to me, they be like, yo, what up, bro? I'm like, mm-mm.
And it comes from the industry that you work with, people that do music, rappers,
Yeah.
and different artists, and a lot of them are men.
Yeah.
So as a result, and I've never done it before, so I don't understand it at all. Like I've never spoken to a woman and called her bruh,
You know,
bro, none of that stuff.
so being a female in the music industry is very interesting. I guess we're just gonna pivot.
Why not?
It's got its ups and downs.
Mhm.
I'm grateful that you've been with me in it. I definitely can say that. Like,
Mhm.
definitely grateful for that. But being a female in it, you kind of just have to become one of the boys, and it's quite annoying because it's not even by choice. It's just
Yeah.
like they don't shake your hand, they just dap you up and just be boom boom boom. You're like, oh my, okay. And so like it's sometimes it's just very awkward, and
I
then
was trying to think like where's that come? Is that like an insecurity, like not insecurity that guys are insecure, but is it more like a I don't want this girl to think something, and I don't want her or I myself don't want to think
yeah.
anything.
And honestly, it honestly comes from like more so the Christian side of men, because
Yeah.
when I was in mainstream, I never experienced
Right. They
any
just
of
hug
that.
you. Hey,
Hey
what's
sweetheart, how
up?
you
Or they shake your
doing? Shake
hand
your
or
hand,
whatever.
like
But
this
there's
is
like this
like
extra effort to
just
make you
so
know like it
extra,
ain't
like
like that,
I don't,
bro.
you
You know what
ain't
I'm
with you like
saying?
that.
Dog.
And then they try to slide in your DM, and I'm like,
Who?
nobody, babe,
Who?
never. They ain't stupid. They know who you are. I wish they would. I was like, but anyways, yeah. So it's been an interesting, dynamic. They usually come up like, "Yo, what up, sis?" Mm-mm. We're not. I don't know. Just say hi. Hey, what's up,
That's
Butterpea?
it.
Or hey, it's
Hey,
Amanda,
what's
or
up?
whatever.
What's up?
Just shake my hand. It's okay.
Mm-hmm.
So that's been an interesting dynamic. But sometimes you just get used to it. He's like, bro, and it's like, what's up, bro?
That's funny.
But those are your peoples.
Do you ever feel like when we was talking to Risha, do you ever feel like saying, hey, like I'm not your bro or your sis. Just call me by my name. My name is Risha.
Yeah.
My name is Butterpea. My name is Amanda. Like what is have you ever done that with someone or you just
I have. I just think I've been in the industry so long now. I just kind of
just
don't
used to it?
care. Yeah, I'm just kind of used to it. Um, the the people that I care about know not to call me that stuff. It's usually people that don't know me. I've made it known like publicly, like, yo, I don't like when people call me sis. So sometimes they be like, oh, what up, sis? Oh, my bad. I know you don't like that. Yeah, I don't. Just let's just, hey,
Yeah.
what's up?
And you're not the exception.
And
I
yeah.
don't like it.
So it's just
Don't
like,
call me that.
I don't know. I don't know why they do it. It's a very I think that's what it is. I think it's like this. It's almost like this wall of protection.
Mhm.
If I call you sister, you're my sister in Christ.
Yeah.
No, like I mean, we are, but like,
Right.
just stop being a corn about it. Just say
Right.
hi. Like,
What's up, brother?
what's up, brother in the Lord? Like, you know what I mean? So it's just, I don't know. Do I feel like addressing it now? No, I just kind of laugh it off at this point. As long as I don't feel like someone's trying to disrespect me,
Yeah.
then somebody disrespect, then that's different. Y'all gonna see a different side of me that, and not in an ignorant way, but I will get assertive, because for me it's I'm just respect me, respect women and stuff. But
It's like fatigue, like you just get tired of it. You're like, whatever. I remember I was working at this job. I told you this story, and I was working at this job. I was so tired, and this lady, I had been telling this lady she was somebody that I would have to I worked at a jewelry distribution center, and I would have to tell this lady, hey, can you grab this, and this for me, whatever. And I would be telling her this every day for like 2 weeks. Hey, I need this. This is what we need to fill the order. Blah 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 blah. One day, it was like a Friday. We was working a crazy, 9-10 hour day. I know that's nothing for people. I work a 17-hour day. For me, it was a lot. 10-hour day. She comes to me at the end, and she was like, and she called me Tim or something like that.
Oh, I remember.
She called me Tim. Now I've been working with this lady for 2 weeks, having discussion, telling her where to go, what we need to do. She's telling me about her family, like this, normal. She called me Tim, and I said, "Yeah, yeah, what's up? What you need?" I was so tired and fatigued. I didn't even correct the lady at all. It wasn't until like months later somebody said, his name isn't Tim, right?
It's not even nowhere
And then he came
near.
like, "Yo, what's?" He said, "Why didn't you tell me your name wasn't Tim?" I said, "It was too. We was too vested.
We were
Like,
best 3 weeks in. Like,
I said, listen, if we was out in the street and you would have called me Tim, I would have walked right by you. I wouldn't even know who you were talking about. But I got accustomed to you calling me Tim. And it was just the same thing like what you guys are saying. Like you just get so tired, you're like, whatever.
it's like,
It's part of
whatever.
the
Yeah.
situation.
And
Yeah.
then too, I think they've just made it so much a part of their culture now. It's like whatever. But who am I to change their culture? I'm getting out of it anyway.
Rappers, the
Rappers and more
industry,
rappers.
music industry. And for those of you that don't know, obviously, we are still involved in music.
Yeah.
And these are just some of the conversations I should say we have as it relates to our music careers,
Yeah.
what we've seen, and what keeps what keeps happening. So
I love where we're at now, though. Like,
yeah,
as much as we joke about it and stuff, like I'm grateful to have been part of that space. I'm grateful to be,
shifting
out. But I have a love hate relationship with them. But I just think it's like anything, you grow in your career and everything is necessary for the next. And so
Yeah,
that was a good season for us, and I love where we've transitioned now. I think I was sharing with some of our team the other day of I love how the Lord has always allowed us to be ahead of the curve.
mm.
And so, where, of course, we do sync.
Mm-hmm.
So we started doing sync like 8 to 10 years ago or something like that. And so we were way ahead of the game. We didn't even know what we were getting into when we were doing it. And so, being able to like get into it early, that now we're where we're at and people are just now getting into it, that we're already ahead. We've already moved on to what this thing could look like for us. And so just understanding, like learning how to navigate the spaces for the season you're in that space, take what you can from it and then go to the next without looking back. And I love where we're at now, that it's just like we're just navigating new waters. Why are you smiling?
Because this is that you just set us up for a nice end, like
Oh.
like that's
Yeah.
perfect.
So yeah, I'm excited.
I'm excited too,
Yeah.
and we'll get into that at another time. Thank you for listening. Right, that's
Yeah.
it. We're done.
Thank you for listening, babe.
Thank you for listening. This is like therapy,
I
man.
know,
This is
babe.
easy. We should
What
just
can I
put a
do
mic
better
up
for you this week?
this week.
As a wife, what can I do better for you this week?
What can you do better for me this week? Let me see. Let me think about that. I don't know, baby. You do a good job. You do a great job, baby girl. You know what I'm saying? Every once in a while, you know what I'm saying? When I'm on the couch, you throw your foot over because you want me to rub that foot of yours. We went to go get manicure, pedicure the other day.
Bring this stupid
Took
story
my
up.
shoes off, and for
God.
years, 17 to be exact, I've been told that my feet look crazy. And I know these feet are beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. These are like Akeem from Coming to America. Rose petals should be thrown at these feet because they're so supple. So I took them off.
Supple, I hate that word.
She sees my feet and she's like,
Don't get slapped,
ooh.
babe. Don't get slapped in your face.
She's like, you got some beautiful feet. And I'm like, word?
Yo,
She's
I was
yeah.
like,
And
I
I'm
was
like,
trying to look at the lady like, shut up.
and I'm like, see, I've been telling you. Because my mom used to tell me that my feet were better than my sisters. Makita, it's all good. I love you. But so I left that knowing now I have confidence in these feet.
Because some other woman told you that you had beautiful feet?
I don't wear sandals or slippers or none of that stuff because, you know what I'm saying? I just can't be doing that. I wear sneakers for the most part, more than anything else. So I think that's what keeps my feet so supple. So I say all that to say. So I say all that to say, My wife will throw her feet on me because she gets restless. It's getting, look, it's happening right now. She's bouncing. And then I have to rub her feet. She's like, squeeze it. And then I'm like, sometimes I play a little basketball after I take a shower and the feet are beautiful and primed and ready to be rubbed. Don't let me throw my feet on that lap right there. You know, they might get punched before they actually get massaged. So, what can you do better for me this week? You know what I'm saying? When I do, set my feet at a 90-degree angle and slip it over there. I just need you to just hold them.
You want me to rub them?
That's it. Just hold them. Squeeze. You don't got to do nothing crazy. Just, you know what I'm saying? Give them the love they deserve.
Okay, I got you.
That's it. What you need me to do?
I'll rub your feet this week. I need you to put on my light outside of the garage.
All right, we got one light that's a little bit different than the other light outside in the garage, but it's been raining all week.
I know.
So, but
That's
I got
it,
you.
that's it.
I'll do it. I'll do it.
Love
Feet
you.
check.
Light check.
Light check.
Love
All right?
you.
Love you, baby. Our small world.